Boys has a piece up, draft observations for the last 10 years under Will McClay. It's kind of a way of evaluating, some of their moves and, their team-building philosophies and their trends. The Cowboys are in line to make some noise in the first 3 rounds of this draft, but not having a 4th-round pick hurts going into this one. Number 3, using late-round picks for proven commodities is the way to go. That's something that they have done quite well, Brian, and I feel like it has improved their Super Bowl window significantly when you look at the corners, the safeties, and even the wide receivers they've been able to get in day 3 over the years.
Yeah, it was kind of it was a little bit different than what we've normally seen from the Cowboys, that they are a team that really appreciate their picks, and they like being a part of the middle of the draft, doing it that way. But to grab a wide receiver, Cooks, and then, with Gilmore at the cornerback spot, I think that we all would agree those were 2 well-spent middle-round picks for the Cowboys last year.
Observation number 4, last year's draft class was drastically underwhelming. Is it a red flag? I mean, that was a weird draft, and I liked it at the time. But as it played out, dude, is there anything that you would go back and look at and say, "Hey, this is where you screwed up. You got to avoid doing this again"?
Kind of, they had. It's funny. They had the right. They had the right idea about tight end. In the first round. The guy at Detroit.
Kincaid?
No,
Porta.
Yeah, Porta was. He was. He was a guy that Mike McCarthy really, really liked. And we started hearing whispers about him while we were in that room that maybe that they were going to draft him in the first round. And we were all kind of going, that would be interesting. But they didn't do it, boy. But it looked like if they would have done it, it'd have been all right.
Yeah.
But, it was, the thing about it is that I think they had the right idea for what they were going to do with Schoonmaker. Schoonmaker just did not deliver as a blocker. Mm-hmm. And I think that really, really hurt them going forward. They needed Schoonmaker to be a point of attack player and help them in the running game, and he didn't do that.
And then observation number 5, trading a 3rd or 4th might be the way to go. This article from Blogging the Boys, observations from Will McClay's years running this draft. They've had a lot of success when doing that over the years, including last year. But, I don't know. I look at that 3rd-round pick as maybe a likely place that I need to get the young running back.
Yeah.
If I don't get one in the 1st or 2nd round, I need that 3rd-round pick to give me some sort of a high probability of getting a guy that can be a star for me. So those are some of the things that they have done and some of the trends going into this year's draft. Landry had posted a 7-round mock draft for us, Brian. The most interesting thing is round 1, where they take Oregon center Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah.
And this is exciting to me. If you look at the draft profile, it's just such a no-brainer home run. I would almost want to start a Jackson Powers Johnson to Cowboys campaign because of how great the fit is and how he profiles in both the running game and the passing game. How sure are you he's going to be there?
That's the problem that I'm working on right now.
He's performing too well. Like Senior Bowl, he's awesome, and he's starting to everybody's catching on that this dude is the real deal. And it seems like I'll kind of be surprised if he's there at this point, Broadus.
See, this is where you're also in that situation too, where you've got some teams in front of you that can clearly use center help. You look at the Miami Dolphins at 21. Philadelphia Eagles probably at 22.
Is he the consensus best center on the board?
I think so.
So you would have to trade up to 20.
Yeah, you're going to have to. And the problem is, though, that if somebody from the back end, say somebody like Miami or Philadelphia, how aggressively they play, maybe they draft their guy at 21, 22 and then trade back ahead of you again, and now, Houston moves out of there and, teams know that Dallas is sitting on a center, much like they were sitting on. Remember last year, Buffalo traded ahead of them for the tight end.
Yeah.
Kincaid.
So is it time for you to trade up in front of them and grab your guy, or do you like the centers behind Jackson Powers Johnson enough that you'd be comfortable taking one of them at 24?
Powers Johnson's the best center in the draft. I will say this, though. I'm to the point in this draft where I think that I could honestly – if I don't get Powers Johnson, I would be considering to trade back is what I would do. And I would try and recoup like the extra 3, maybe an extra 4, something like that. I would try and make up for the picks that I don't have. And I think Zach Frazier from West Virginia is ideal for me. If I can move back, say, 5 spots, and all of a sudden I get a chance to draft Zach Frazier from West Virginia, I think I'm winning right there.
You are.
I think I'm winning right there, and I'm getting a pick in that 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that we haven't really talked too much about, that I think is probably the most likely scenario, knowing how much the Cowboys covet as many darts for the dartboard as possible when it comes to the draft assets, and not having some of those picks in the middle rounds. I think the most likely scenario, unless they have a surefire like Jackson Powers Johnson falls to them, I think trading back seems like it makes the most sense, because you can still get the position you need the most, one of these centers,
I don't
accumulate more picks.
Right. If say Graham Barton from Duke is gone, I would consider, if I've lost both the centers, I would consider then moving back, because I like Frazier better than Barton, but there's people. I mean, the Cowboys might like the Duke tackle Barton, and they'll have to. I've seen Frazier play center at West Virginia. I haven't seen Barton from Duke play. Now
we've just heard about it.
Yeah, I think people are projecting him to play there. He's a really good athlete, second-level player. He's been nicked up a little bit. But the one thing I've seen with Zach Frazier from West Virginia is he's played center.
Okay.
And so that would be my guy. But maybe if the Cowboys, I think they could stand in there and take Powers Johnson and love it. And I think they would even consider Graham Barton as well.
Man, so many options. It just seems like by the time you get through that first pick, whether you take it at 24, you trade back to the start of the 2nd round and do it there, chances are very good. I'm just nervous that over the next couple of weeks here with free agency approaching, we're going to hear like the Cowboys like Biotish and did a team-friendly deal, and they're happy with the value that he gives them there. At that point, it would be a monster kick in the gut. I just think they need to be more athletic. And you think all 3 of the guys that you talked about there, Brian, could be stronger against that bull rush and more athletic in the run game?
Yeah, much better guys at securing the ones and the threes. Much better playing second level. Much better at getting, as I always talk about, cutting the defense in half in the running game, and much better at working with both Martin and Smith as your guards.
Okay, we've talked a lot about addressing linebacker in free agency. It just seems like the most cost-effective thing to do, that you would get the least expensive players in free agency and then use your first and second maybe for the most expensive players. But Nick Harris, DallasCowboy.com, is asking, can Edgerrin Cooper solve the linebacker problems, saying the position is likely where Mike Zimmer has the most work to do in his first season. And this guy on paper, incredible grades in the pass and the run game.
He had 10 sacks.
Oh, wow.
As a linebacker.
So is this an inside linebacker or a real inside linebacker?
No, so this is a legitimate inside linebacker.
Huh.
And, there were some snaps where he wasn't accounted for when you watch him play. Auburn, Alabama, LSU, where they didn't account for him, and he just punishes the quarterback with the way he plays. He's a really good wrap-up tackler. He's 6'3", he's 230 pounds. I don't know how much more weight you can add to him, but he might be maxed out weight-wise, but, man, he can hold his own when he has to deal with bigger blockers, for sure.
Is he the best linebacker in the draft, according to you, or is it the Michigan guy?
No. The problem that I have with these linebackers right now is they're all kind of nicked up, and so I think that you have to. My favorite one is the kid Wilson from North Carolina State as an inside linebacker. I got Wilson, NC State, Cooper, Texas A&M, Colston, Michigan, and then Eichenberg from Ohio State. Those are all second-round linebackers. I don't have a first-round linebacker on my board.
Okay. Well, maybe one, makes sense for you there. I'd like to see them add a veteran and get a young guy if the right player is falling on the board. I think you got to look at a total overhaul and think that, man, it'd be great if Overshown continues to flash potential. But what we saw last year in camp, you can't take that to the bank as far as starting level NFL quality, anything like that.